Every major news story is with many perspectives and layered with different levels of impact.
Hello. What time did this happen? We will be right there.
At TVC News, we follow the big and major news, gathering the facts, witnessing the outcome.
I am here live at the aftermath of the approval of the new national minimum wage.
We are TV Station of the Year, not just for breaking news, but for being first, fair and accurate. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Okay, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folani. Okay, our guest this morning is Chief Dozie Ikedife Jr. He's the Anambra State APC Organizing Secretary. He's our guest because we want to talk about the Anambra 2025 governorship election, and you might well know that Chief Nicholas, I think it's Prince Nicholas Ukachukwu, is the APC flag bearer. So a fine morning to you, Mr. Ikedife Jr. Good morning.
But please, point of correction, I'm the Southeast Organizing Secretary of APC, not Anambra State Organizing Secretary. Southeast. I'm not hearing.
Aha. Okay, good morning. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much for coming on, sir. Now, you know, your flag bearer is Nicholas Ukachukwu. So I wanted to find out from you, what can we look forward to? Because I've seen him in the press. He's full of promise. And how do you see the job that he will be stepping into if the electorate is in agreement come November?
Thank you very much for having me. And,
My pleasure.
We just came through with a beautiful APC primary elections in Anambra State. And our governorship candidate, like you said, Prince Nicholas Ukachukwu, is an astute politician.
Yeah.
A family man, a man of God, a pastor in his right. And he has vast knowledge of the political landscape in Anambra State. It's not going to be an easy task for us in APC to unseat an incumbent governor. However, we have a roadmap to do it. And with the candidate of a known face, Prince Nicholas Ukachukwu, Ikukuoma, the wind of glory, we have packaged his manifesto, very robust manifesto, and if you've paid attention to his background, he's a businessman. He was an apprentice and then got settled to do business, and he has done well for himself. And Anambra is a business community, so he understands. He's also an industrialist, so he understands what it takes to grow the economy of Anambra State. We have a business-based economy, and a lot of our programs will be tailored towards the business community. We are going to take care of the educational sector and make sure that security, without security, we cannot have investors in Anambra State. So security is foremost on the mind of President Nicholas Ukachukwu and the APC team. Because when we tackle security, which we think can be achieved easily using a homegrown method, then you see that Anambra investors will come back on board again. Like we know, Prince Nicholas Ukachukwu built enormous industries in Anambra State that failed because of lack of security. His expatriate workers were kidnapped, his staff were kidnapped, and he had to pay a lot in ransom to get these people out. And if you come to Nnewi, where I'm from a Nnewi, not local government, we've had a lot of industries that are folding up because of lack of security. A lot of our business investors are fleeing the state going into the neighboring states of Delta State, and some have been going into Lagos State, and also going to Enugu State. So we have to secure the environment first. Because if you build roads and there are no people driving on those roads, then you've done nothing. So the job of Nicholas Ukachukwu is to make sure that we secure lives and properties of Anambra people. Because in the past 3 years, I tell you that we've lost over 10,000 lives in Anambra State, needlessly. And now somebody's waking up to say that he's doing something about security when we've already lost over 10,000 lives. There's a beautiful industrialist in Nnewi called Chief Ofoma. Traveling from Port Harcourt to Nnewi, he was ambushed and kidnapped senselessly. So these things happen all day long, and our people are sick and tired of it. What we need for, first and foremost, in Anambra State is security. And Prince Nicholas Ukachukwu has a roadmap to tackle security in Anambra State. That's where we start from.
Let me ask the question of politicians talk about facing an incumbent and challenging for the position at the same time. Politicians seem to think the incumbent has an edge. I wonder if these are concerns that APC in Anambra State also is paying attention to. And first of all, do you agree? We've heard that well, politicians will say what they need to say, what they have to say. What we've been hearing that there's no vacancy in Anambra State. Anambra State is a state of this person, is a state of this political party. I wonder how you react coming into that kind of an environment.
Thank you very much. We've had those rhetorics severally in the past, saying that okay, okay, go ahead, sir.
Oh, well, yes, that was it. The question you were about to answer is it. I haven't said anything else.
Okay, thank you very much. And the thing is this, politicians have a lot of rhetorics. Anambra State is not an exception, but we have a government in Anambra State that we are going to pass a referendum on come November 8th. The referendum is going to be on the non-performance of the state government. Incumbent governments have been removed before using the democratic process, and Anambra is not going to be different. I can assure you that our governor is going to be a 4-year governor, one-term governor, because of lack of performance. Like I said, we have lost a lot of lives in Anambra State, and that's not acceptable. Our investors are fleeing the state. Unemployment is too low in the state. We have a government that was sleeping on the saddle for 3 years, and they're just waking up to their responsibilities. So, from what we have on ground, the Anambra people are sick and tired of the non-performance. Governments are judged based on their performance, and Anambra is not going to be any different.
Okay.
So we are ready, we are doing the work, and we will do all it takes within the democratic norms to unseat the government of Anambra State, sir.
Okay, so from the encouraging words that you have said regarding your candidate, you seem to be sure that he does have a fair chance, even as other people might be. I think you referred to it as whatever the political spear that we usually get from people. However, I want to dwell on your candidate and not the incumbent, but they are somehow connected because your candidate wants his job, and they're going to have to depend on the electorate, the people, to say you have spoken well. We are sending you to Government House. So immediately you begin to look at what each has brought to the job. The incumbent, among other things, is the former governor of Central Bank. He's a renowned economist. And you were telling me at the top that, look, Prince Ukachukwu himself is something of an industrialist. But can you tell me about the political experience that will stand him in good stead? Because I heard his speech. He's speaking very much, his acceptance speech, and he was saying very much the kind of things that you are saying, that Anambra was in need of a change, not necessarily for themselves, but for the good people of Anambra State. So going back to what will he be selling, how will he sell himself? Well, it's not going to be him, it's going to be the party, to the people of Anambra State who arguably have been used to, the kind of criteria that, the kind of qualifications that the incumbent governor is not flaunting, but just, it's a fact that this man is an academic, he's an economist, he's a governor, we've been hearing him speak. So what can your candidate, Prince Ukachukwu, bring to match that?
Well, thank you again. The thing is this, in my state, if you're a professor, you stay in the classroom. We need street credibility for you to govern Anambra State properly.
Okay.
Well, let me start by telling you who Prince Ukachukwu is.
Okay,
Prince Ukachukwu has been elected AMAC chairman in Abuja here. He's gone to the National Assembly before, and he's a strong progressive with a lot of followership. Prince Ukachukwu was in APGA before and then migrated to APC. And when he migrated to APC, he migrated with a lot of followership from APGA to APC. And the reason why he has a strong followership in Anambra State is because of his antecedents. He listens to the people. He's a listening man. One of the things I find attractive to him is that when you speak with him, he has the ability to sit and listen to you for 30 minutes. And it's easy to comprehend and understand issues. And when you have complex issues, he's able to understand complex issues within seconds. And that's the kind of person we need in Anambra State. Prince Ukachukwu has come from the business community. He has come from the trader community, which is the base of Anambra State. And we need somebody who's not going to interfere with the markets anymore. Prince Ukachukwu is saying to the business communities in Anambra State, go and elect your leaders. Go and elect the people that will make our markets to thrive again in Anambra State. That's what he's saying. He has strong followership among the teachers. He has strong followership among the professionals, the doctors. He's building a big hospital in Anambra State, just giving back to the society. He's a man with strong antecedents. But then he's coming to correct some of the things that this present administration has not been able to correct. And I come from a strong medical background. My father was a renowned gynecologist. And he has said to me that you don't need a gynecologist to be the governor of Anambra State. We don't need a professor who is sending people on this to go and maim the citizens of Anambra State. The current government of Anambra State is killing Anambra citizens, destroying lives and doing double taxation. I have a friend that is a tipper driver. His name is Peter Okeke. He drives his tipper from Obunka, where he goes to collect stone to go and sell. Between Obunka and Nnewi, he is stopped 10 times. And, this issue of double taxation, we cannot continue with that. Anambra traders are suffering. Anambra business people are suffering. They are yearning for change. And Ukachukwu, Prince Nicholas Okachukwu's his title is Ikukuoma, which is Wind of Glory. And I'm optimistic that Anambra State is going to experience a new wind of glory come November 8, 2025. We are ready and we're going to work. It's not going to be a tea party. It's not going to be a walk through the park. But we will do everything that it takes. Very soon we will start counting our numbers. We counted our numbers going into the primary elections, and we're going to count our numbers going into the governorship elections. And I promise you that by the time we're done, Ukachukwu will be elected the next governor of Anambra State.
Okay, then. Well, just before I continue, let me just say that those who are watching in the diaspora or, who can continue to watch us here, but I also wanted to say that we will be covering, live the 2025 Ministerial Press Briefing Series. And if I look at it here, yep, Muhammad Idris and Adebayo Adelabu, I think those are the ministers. They are actually, it's in progress now. But our guest, and if if anything happens to the transmission to your side, you can watch us on our YouTube channel. Oof. So that's just that. Our guest here is Mr. Dozie Ikedife Jr., the APC Southeast Organizing Secretary. Okay, so back to you, Chief Ikedife. There are so many,
yes,
like any state, there are so many areas of concern. You yourself have spoken about security. Could I ask about what your candidates, what APC's candidates' thoughts are regarding infrastructure in Anambra State? That's just one of the things. You know, we can look at what his program contains by way of trying to know him better. But let's start with infrastructure before we go on to things like education, perhaps agriculture. But infrastructure first.
Well, thank you. Infrastructure is very important in Anambra State. Like I said, we have a business community in Anambra State that every government, every sensible and responsible government must pander to. Anambra citizens need pipe-borne water. Part of what Prince Okachukwu has articulated is that he's going to make sure that we have a robust, and for the first time it may be since the creation of the state, we're going to have real pipe-borne water in Anambra State. So we're coming up with that program of the waterworks system again, where citizens don't have to depend on drilling their independent boreholes or people going to the streams to fetch water. This is 2025, and pipe-borne water is important. Of course, we know that any government is going to build roads, and we have to connect the three senatorial districts of Anambra State together, because one section of Anambra State is known for agriculture. Another sector of Anambra State is known for business, trading, and we have to connect the agricultural belt of Anambra State to the different markets. So Prince Okachukwu says that he's going to devote his first 2 years in creating superhighways, because when you create the agricultural base, what it means is that the urban migration is going to be less. Less people will have the affinity to leave their communities to go and settle in the urban centers. And what it also means is that we become self-sufficient in agriculture. So this is what that he's going to do. He's going to establish the roads so that we can be self-sufficient in agriculture. Building of roads is simple, it's not rocket science. Roads are built every day. The present government that we have slept on the saddle and did not build more than 50 kilometers of roads in 3 years. But Prince Okachukwu has promised Anambra people that he's going to build, in 4 years, he's going to build at least 500 kilometers of roads connecting the three senatorial districts. These are some of the things that we have to focus. And we have to also decongest Onitsha. Onitsha is the industrial hub of Anambra State. And many of the industries don't have electricity. Our Okachukwu's government is going to look at self-sufficiency in energy production so that the cost of production will be less, and so that our business people will have less affinity to migrate to places like Lagos. So we're going to create an enabling environment for the business communities. And of course, he says that he's already investing his personal money in healthcare.
Okay.
So we want to have a very robust healthcare system in Anambra State. Primary healthcare is very important. So that, see, the cost of treating malaria is a very deadly disease, but the cost of treating malaria is very cheap. You can actually treat malaria with 1,000 naira. But the treatment of such ailments starts at the primary healthcare centers. Our primary healthcare centers are going to come back on stream. We're going to engage the doctors that will go and run these primary healthcare centers so that diseases and ailments can be taken care of and be nipped in the bud at the early stages. These are some of the things that he's going to do. But I promise he's going to come up with a very robust and interesting manifesto. And when you see his manifesto, you will know that he's ready to be the governor of Anambra State.
Okay. So indeed, one will look forward to seeing that manifesto. But you did accuse the incumbent administration of not having done as much as they might have been able to do with roads, for instance. And you say that should your candidates indeed win the election, the upcoming election, that you're going to do a better. So I was going to point out that, look, as you know, You don't need me to tell you that. There's this whole question of managing scarce resources. And without prejudice to the statement you made, anybody can say that, look, I will build roads all over the place if he can fund it, if he can pay for it. But in a situation where all states are, dealing with competing needs and, the wherewithal is not exactly, enough for all their desires. So what do you think? But before you go ahead, sir, let me just quickly bring in a caller. Mazi Okoroafo has called in. Mazi, go ahead, please. Mazi Okoroafo.
You see, when I was looking for some of these national days and some stats of some people, they were just talking. Somebody was saying that the Anambra election is a very litmus test, as I was said, okay. Now the question is, there must be a free ground for everybody, all the political parties that want to contest. But what I'm trying to look at the Anambra election as very, very close. As the contestant, that's the governorship candidate. I will advise them, please, that the Abga there. You see, sometimes when other people start bringing in their posters, their signboard, billboard, all this thing, another group will go back and start destroying people's billboard. That one is not democracy. There must be what is good level ground. Anybody who wants to print a banner or poster or signboard or billboard, allow the person, as long as they have paid the Anambra Development Union Agency money, allow the person. Not a situation whereby some youth should be hired to go and start destroying the politics or something. It's not ready or start making politics. And the radio house is there. I know there are many radio houses in Anambra. Please accommodate everybody. No. Democracy is the right for everybody. People have their own sense, people have their own sense. I want everybody to come in. Everybody should go out and but the situation whereby when you start campaigning now, people are coming to kill for it. It's not true. So we have to be very careful the way some people can.
All right. All right, Mazi. Thank you very much. Just to say that, the line was a bit difficult, but I think we could make it out. And my guest, Chief Dozie Ikedife Jr., might want to react to that. I don't know. First of all, there was my question, and then I brought this guest in who has also now made his own submission. Maybe you could take them.
Well, if you can clarify to me his question, because his speech was lengthy, so I wasn't able to make out his question. So
okay, maybe take
appropriately.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe take it from the angle that I think he was speaking about unfair electoral tactics. Somebody's poster is interfered with by, some competing person's poster, and I think he was bemoaning that that is hardly democratic. That really.
Yes. I agree with him that in democracy, people should be allowed to have their say. People should be allowed to exercise their franchise. And I blame it squarely on the attack dogs of the government of Anambra State. They have to allow opposition parties in Anambra State to come out and campaign to the people. Having said that, you talked about the meager resources coming from the states.
Yes.
See, right now, in the past 2 years, our states have enjoyed very robust allocations from the federal government. But what we need to do, or what Okachukwu's government is going to do, is that he's going to prioritize resources and apply resources to areas of needs. And the areas of needs, like I talked about earlier, is the insecurity in Anambra State. When you have a thriving environment and people are safe and secure, the business people will come in and invest. And with the investments, the cost of the level of unemployment will reduce drastically. This is not rocket science. And what we're saying is this: with the huge resources coming from the federal government, huge resources coming from the federal government. We can use those resources to develop and connect the 3 senatorials so that people can move with their produce and agriculture will thrive. Agriculture is where we are going to employ over 30% of Anambra citizens. But most importantly, I tell people it's not about what you get, your right. You have your statutory right. And part of what Okachukwu is saying is that we should be able to connect Anambra State to the center, where you can come in here and get the extras, the democratic extras. If you go to Imo State, you see that the governor of Imo State, Governor Hope Uzodinma, on his second term in office, is doing a lot of work in Abia State. In Imo State. He's a performing governor. You go to Ebonyi State, you see what Mwifri is doing in Ebonyi State. These are 2 progressive governors of APC. These are 2 leaders that are doing their job it's just mind-blowing. And we believe that we can follow the footsteps of Imo and Ebonyi. Connect Anambra to the center so that we can have more dividends of democracy accruing to us.
Okay, one moment, please. I beg your pardon for interrupting you, but I beg your pardon. Sorry to interrupt you, but Mr. George has called in from Lagos and has been holding on for quite a while. Thank you very much for your patience, Mr. George. Please go ahead now.
Okay, good morning, Uncle Yori, and good morning to the guest.
Yes, thank you. Good morning.
Uncle Yori, the last time you were discussing this issue, I tried to reach you, but I wasn't lucky enough.
Oh, okay.
Somebody from APGA party was talking on the studio. As he was speaking, Uncle Yori, I made 3 calls. One to a friend in Oka, to another friend in Newi, and another colleague that was in Onitsha. All what the man was saying that day about the performance of Charles Soludo, they all confirmed it to be true, particularly the one relating to free education from primary to secondary school. And you recall that Charles Soludo is the only governor that I can recall who doesn't believe in this palliative. He believes in using the money to do something that is more enduring. For example, like in the free education he's doing, if your child, the child of a poor person that is selling akara by the roadside, who has no money to pay school fees, you can send the child to school and you don't pay anything, free books and free tuition, and then a meal at school. That is better than the palliative that we normally see legislators giving to people, which they actually use to campaign. The truth of this matter, Uncle Yori, is that Soludo is doing well. The insecurity that the gentleman is talking about is not peculiar to Anambra State. It's all over the country. And the president, both at the federal level and state level, the governors and the president, they are finding ways to ameliorate them. We all see that one. Let truth be told. If I were the APC leaders, I would rather woo Charles Soludo to come to our party. There's no way the sentiments on ground in Anambra State cannot favor any other party from winning these forthcoming elections. That's what I can see as an observer. Thank you.
All right, then. Well, thank you very much for calling in, Mr. George. And once again, apologies for holding you on like that. I'll tell you what, Chief Ikedife, I'll take a break now so that you can speak and I won't need to butt in because I have to go on a break. So let me take this break. We'll be right back, and then you can react to that, if that's okay with you. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back, and thank you for staying with us if we've been together, or indeed for joining us. Our guest is Dozie Ikedife Jr., APC Southeast Organizing Secretary. Mr. Ikedife Jr. has, a question, that he's going to react to. But in the meantime, when we went on break, there was another call in. So let me just take that call in. If you were taking notes, good. If not, I'll sort of try and recap. Reverend Dominic, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Chief Yori. Good morning to Chief Dozie Jr.
Yes. Okay.
Yori,
Good morning.
I have not seen for a long time had Mr. George spoken like a statesman. He has spoken very well, but for a witness, I want to contribute my own quota.
Sure.
Yori, as Chief Dozie, what will he do, especially on security? Not just how we end security, because the security of the South is peculiar to Southeast. And it's Southeast, 5 states of Southeast. It's all about Anambra, it's all about Imo. You cannot judge any governor in the Southeast based on security. You know the issues, as you know the issues. But what he's saying there, when I listen to many politicians, I get tired of Nigeria. That what he's saying there has no basis. Let him tell us the way he can manage security better, more than what Soludo is doing. He made a statement that is sweeping here. We do in Nigeria every day to condemn ourselves. He says Soludo is killing people. How? How can we say that? A gentleman like that? Please, if you know Oka many years ago, Oka was a sweet village, wonderful village. If you go to Oka today, Oka is like Dubai of Africa. Beautiful, clean, infrastructures built by this gentleman. He can campaign to take over his job, but he cannot malign the character of a man called Soludo. I'm APC, I'm APC. I wish APC take over 5 states of Eastern states. But not want to tell lies bluntly in order to take power. Like people who want to take power from our president today. Nobody's telling us what they can do differently by the security we have here. It's security. It's a cheap black man. That man is not frank to himself. Soludo has done well. But security is issue of Southeast is peculiar and Nigeria in general. What will you talk about the governor of Benue? What will you talk about governor of Plateau? It is the power of security to maintain security in the hand of governors. Those governors are failure. But even their relative peace in Southeast, but our security there is peculiar. When an Imo man came down from Imo, I didn't talk about security because there's a state, a local government in Imo today where nobody enters. But I don't want to talk about it because it's not about the fault of the man in Imo State. It's peculiar to us. So the man should tell us what we do better, more than Soludo in issue of security. Or Soludo have done very well. Thank you.
All right, then. Thank you very much. In fact, happily I saw that you were taking notes. So maybe you'd want to start, because the theme of Mr. George, who spoke before Reverend Dominic, was that Soludo is doing well, and he doesn't see how anybody is going to unseat Soludo. And Reverend Dominic, who has just spoken, has sort of repeated that refrain. Okay, so your turn now, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Let me go back to what George said. George talked about education. But
yes.
I guarantee you that, I'm going to just use a small segment of Anambra State, where I come from. I come from Nnewi North and Nnewi Town, to be precise. Soludo has not invested in any new classroom blocks in Nnewi North local government. And I doubt if he has invested in classroom blocks in Anambra State. The point is that Ikukroma understands the need of education, the importance of education, at least at the cradle stage. So what it means is that the incoming government of Nicholas Okachukwu is going to invest a lot in education. And we're going to invest by starting by producing or building new classrooms.
One moment, sir. Before you continue, sir.
Yes.
Before you continue,
yes.
we heard that the present administration in Anambra State has done quite well for education. The state bankrolling the education uniform feeding 1 meal a day, and all of that. We heard that is on ground now. Okay, you're talking here about
All right.
Some additional infrastructure, but surely you can't take away from the present administration that they are actually doing for education what hasn't been done in quite a bit. I mean, it's not my place to speak for them, but these are supposed to be things that are on ground.
Unfortunately, sir, I disagree with you because I live on ground. I live in the community. I live in the Newe community. And I'm saying to you that I have not seen one new classroom block built in my local government. And we can use that local government as a test study where the present government has not built one new classroom. But you have to understand that what is thriving in Anambra State is that private investors are running private schools in Anambra State, with the government neglecting the public schools, at least at the primary school level and at the secondary school level. I have not seen any additional classroom added or classroom renovated in any of the secondary schools in Anambra State. And I challenge you to tell me one that was done in Nnewi, not local government. So it's okay for people to come and do the lip service. But what I'm telling you is that the voters, the people, the indigents of Anambra State, they know what's going on. It's not about what people see on TV. I've seen the government of Anambra State investing a lot of taxpayers' money of Anambra State, taking up free advertorials on TV. That is waste. He should spend some of that money in education. And like I said, he has not invested 1 naira in primary health care, delivery of primary health care. You understand? So, and when Reverend Domi called, he said that Oka is like Dubai. I promise you, when Soludo was campaigning, he said that he was going to make Anambra State to be like Dubai. But some of us who know better, we are telling him that we don't need Dubai in Anambra State. We need Abakaliki. Go to Abakaliki and see what the APC government of Dave Umahi and Wifra have done in Abakaliki, in Ebonyi State. We're asking him to give us Ebonyi State. We're asking him to give us Abakaliki. I want to tell you something, sir. I took a ride with a friend of mine to Uburu recently when we went to visit the teaching hospital in Uburu. When we got there, it was 3 of us in the vehicle, and when we got there, we got out of the vehicle and we prayed for Governor Dave Umahi, who was the former governor, and also prayed for the current governor of Ebonyi State, Governor Wifuru, because of the infrastructure that they have created in Ebonyi State. Soludo was sleeping on the saddle for 3 years. He's just waking up to start tackling insecurity with untrained people that just killed one lady from Akabuku in Nnewi yesterday. No, excuse me, 2 days ago. Senseless killings every day happening in Anambra State. He said, oh, we've had enough of it. What we're saying is that there must be an organized roadmap. We have to sit down and draw infrastructure roadmap for Anambra people, educational roadmap. And not only that, we also have to create master plan for some of our cities. We cannot continue just developing blindly. There is not one project that Soludo has done. The only thing that he's doing that has been on TV is that he's building a new government house in Oka. Anybody can build anybody with government funds can build any edifice in 6 months. But he's killing our people with double taxation. That's unacceptable. He's not, how much money has he invested in education in 3 years? How much money has he invested in healthcare in 3 years? What we are saying is that enough of his shenanigans. It's okay for anybody to say professor, but I tell you that professor is not going to continue being the governor of Anambra State. You cannot govern Anambra State by speaking long grammar. We grew up, we were taught how to speak long grammar from the cradle, but that's not what is needed to govern Anambra State. If you want to be governor of Anambra State, you have to have the street credibility. Mm-hmm. You have to have the market credibility. You have to have the business credibility. You have to know you have to understand the needs of the people. I promise you, Prince Ukachuku, in his community of Osumeni, single-handedly tarred over 10 kilometers of roads in his community. His entire community is tarred.
Okay. You know,
the roads that the government of Soludo has built in Anambra, in Nnewi North again, where I'm using as a case study.
Yes.
Soludo has not built more than 2 kilometers of tarred roads in Nnewi North in 3 years of his administration. Enough of it. And he's emasculating the local government, emasculating everybody, speaking long grammar. That grammar is not going to be accepted in Anambra State.
Yes. I hear you, sir. And
yes, sir.
Yes, I do hear you. But you seem to me to be a fair man. You will call it the way it is. I preface my question with those remarks because I was going to ask you, is there, without prejudice, is there anything that you thought the incumbent Anambra State governor is doing well but will be improved upon? Because there is the danger from the way you've been speaking of somebody assuming, who is not Nigerian and we are being watched in the diaspora, somebody assuming that absolutely nothing has happened since he took office. So that's why I just wanted to ask that question without prejudice to, of course, you do prefer that it is Prince Nicholas Ukachukwu that should replace him. But are you ready to concede that, well, he has done some things that we're going to improve upon?
Yes, I can. I'm honorable enough to say that. He's building what he calls Solution City in Anambra State, where kids can go and play. I applaud him for that. He's building a new government house in Anambra State, in Oka. I also applaud him for that. But what I'm saying is that our needs are more than what he's doing.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that Soludo has been complacent. An industrialist, Chief Ofoma from Umudim Nnewi, was killed. Over 10,000 people of Anambra State have been killed. Not one apprehension. That's not okay. Well, a lot of people, I can promise you that Soludo, as a citizen of Anambra State, he cannot go to Isuofia, his hometown, and spend 2 nights in his hometown without enough security. He wouldn't do that. I challenge him to do that. I challenge him to go to his hometown and walk around. You understand what I mean? He cannot guarantee himself of his freedom, of his life.
Okay, and you think...
So what is he doing as a governor?
What you're talking about there is the state of security in Anambra State. That's why you made those remarks, that even the governor would be, So I was wondering, what would a new entrant to the office in the person of Prince Ukachukwu, what would he be able to do differently? Because without knowing Professor Soludo, I'm sure him and everybody else in Anambra State, they do want security in the state. So what would Prince Ukachukwu, do you happen to know his plans in that regard before his manifesto is released?
Yes, I happen to know some of the things that he wants to do. Part of the things that he wants to do is that our security has to be homegrown from the communities. We have to know who is living in the communities with us. Once you know who is living in the communities with us, that's when you begin to tackle security. We must know what you do for a living. We have to encourage the town unions, the community leaders, to be part of the security infrastructure of the state. Nicholas Ukachukwu is not going to interfere with the election of town union leaders. It's not acceptable in a democracy. Every community should be able to elect who they want to be the leaders of their town unions. The market should be able to elect who they want to be the leaders of the market. And then these stakeholders will come to the table to begin to develop a very sustainable security infrastructure in Anambra State. And the governor must have the body language that he's ready to tackle insecurity from get-go. The day Nicholas Ukachukwu is sworn in as governor of Anambra State is the day he will tackle insecurity frontally, because he has been a victim. His brother has been kidnapped in the past. His workers have been kidnapped in the past. He understands what it means to have a safe and secure Anambra State. Nicholas Ukachukwu's businesses have wound down to closure because of insecurity. So I'm saying that as a businessman, he understands it. As a politician, he understands it. And as a leader with mass appeal, with mass following, he understands it. So this is the first time that we are going to have as governor a man who is rooted, who is well rooted. We don't need an elite to come and be governor of Anambra State. Soludo is an elite. He has no investment in Anambra State. He has never been part and parcel of the business community of Anambra State. You know, so what I'm saying is that we need somebody, and we're going to elect somebody who is part of the community, who is part and parcel of Anambra State.
Okay.
You understand?
I
my
hear you,
in-laws,
sir.
excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. My in-laws in Embassy, they were going to bury a 90-year-old lady, and these non-state actors came down and killed a 60-year-old lady. For what? People in Ihiala local government are paying ransom every day. You cannot bury your dead. You cannot celebrate marriages. You cannot celebrate anything in Ihiala local government. And you think, and people come and say that he's doing well. The owner of Air Peace cannot go to Mbasi. He cannot go to his village and spend the night. He'll be kidnapped. What I'm saying is, it's real, it's clear, it's present in our faces. But we try to be complacent, and we cannot continue to have a government that is complacent about these issues. The primary issue in Anambra State is security, securing lives and properties. And this man, the governor of Anambra State, has been complacent. I'm ready and willing to debate anybody on that topic any day. A whole community, Embassy community. When my in-laws, when they lose loved one, they cannot bury the person. People in Embassy have not buried their loved ones in 3 years. Why? You say that we have a governor. He can tackle that in 3 days. So I'm pleading with Governor Soludo. While you still have till November, wake up, go and do some things. Go and pander to the people. Because for me, that professor is not going to be my governor anymore after November 8th.
Well, that's, of course, you're depending on the electorate when you say that. You're depending that your thoughts...
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yes.
You're depending on that your thoughts are, happen to be the way that matters are seen by the good people of Anambra State. Because you give the impression that they're tired. That's the impression I'm getting from here, that they're tired and need a change for all the reasons that you have stated. So I'm going to leave it there. That's why we invited you to hear what your impression is about the chances of Prince Nicholas Ukachukwu. And not surprisingly, you're saying that his chances are quite good. Well, our time is fast spent. Let me just hear about the agriculture, because when Mr. George referred to somebody who had come on our program to speak about the, Soludo administration. So I was going to ask you about agriculture. You've spoken, in passing about it, but surely that's very important as well, agriculture. What are the plans in that regard?
Okay, thank you, sir. Anambra State is blessed with a lot of arable land that can produce food. We have to be self-sufficient in food production, and we should be able to also export some of the food that we produce. The point I'm making is that we have plan. We are still developing the agricultural map of Anambra State, where we are going to encourage our farmers. We're going to encourage our farmers with grants, not loans. Because when you invest in the people, when you invest in your farmers, they're going to feed the state. So Nicholas Ukachukwu's administration is going to encourage our farmers with grants. We're going to encourage our farmers with fertilizers, and we're going to encourage them in farm settlements. We're going to come up with farm settlements again in Anambra State and have organized off-takers of their produce so that our farmers will not be cheated.
Okay.
Our farmers will not be cheated.
Okay.
So when we succeed in organizing the farm settlements and organized system of off-takers, you will see that we'll become self-sufficient in agriculture, and we'll be able to feed ourselves with grants, not loans.
I want to thank you very much, Chief Dozie Ikedife Jr., APC Southeast Organizing Secretary, for coming on and talking to us about your candidate in the November election in Anambra State. I certainly wish you the best, as I would to all candidates in the Anambra election. Thank you very much for your time, sir.
Thank you, sir. And the wind of glory is coming to Anambra State. The wind of glory. Ikukuoma, Anambra.
All right, then. Okay, so that's our program then. Do please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folani. Bye-bye for now.
The Inspector General of Police has met with senior officers to review the state of security.
We are continuing our coverage of the arrest of Godwin Emefiele.
The Senate has summoned the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria to properly brief the Senate regarding the state of the economy.
What I will never take is threat.
Let's now bring you more development from Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, where an explosion has taken place. Tell us about this incident.
TVC News, first with breaking news.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Ogun State, the gateway to Nigeria, is setting the pace with groundbreaking infrastructure projects and innovative social programs for economic development. Join us every week for Gateway Diary, where we spotlight the incredible initiatives and achievements of Ogun State government under the leadership of Governor Dapo Abiodun. Discover how Prince Dapo Abiodun and his team are empowering communities, fostering economic growth, and enhancing the quality of life for the good people of Ogun State. With exclusive interviews, behind-the-scenes access, and real-time stories from the people, Gateway Diary offers authentic and inspiring insight into the progress and prosperity of Ogun State. Gateway Diary, showing
Muhammad Ali was born and raised in Louisville, Kentucky on January 17, 1942. His birth name was Cassius Marcellus Clay Jr. He began training as an amateur boxer at age 12, and at 18 he won a gold medal in the light heavyweight division at the 1960 Summer Olympics and turned professional later that year. In his early years as a professional, Clay was more highly regarded for his charm and personality than for his ring skills. He sought to raise public interest in his fights by reading childlike poetry and spouting self-descriptive phrases like float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. On February 25, 1964, at age 22, he pulled off a major upset, defeating Sonny Liston to win the World Heavyweight Championship. That same year, he shocked the boxing establishment again by denouncing his birth name as a slave name and formally took the name Muhammad Ali, which was given to him by his spiritual mentor Elijah Muhammad, leader of the Nation of Islam. For the next 3 years, Ali dominated the boxing arena. Muhammad Ali retired from boxing in 1981 and focused on his religion, philanthropy, and activism. In 1984, he made public his diagnosis of Parkinson's syndrome, which some reports attributed to boxing-related injuries, though he and his specialist physicians disputed this. He remained an active public figure globally, but in his later years made fewer public appearances as his condition worsened and he was cared for by his family. Ali was chosen to light the Olympic flame at the start of the 1996 Olympic Games in Atlanta, Georgia. He died on June 3rd, 2020.